I think young carers in particular do it tough. The care that young people provide to a parent in particular, or perhaps a sibling, it can often be invisible, so it's a hidden experience. You might have a family situation where there's an older adult that really meets with health professionals and is the sort of official face of the caring in the family. So the stuff that the younger person does is often hidden, and the impact of the experience can be hidden as well. The other challenge are the really practical ones, really about having the confidence and the life skills to negotiate with health professionals and to understand everything that's going on, and also to keep up work and study is really important as well, and can be incredibly challenging. There's also, I guess, the rewards of being a carer are there for young people as well, in terms of just reciprocating the care that they've been provided with within the family as well. But there can be role shifts, and sometimes the person, particularly if it's a parent, can't acknowledge or doesn't want to acknowledge what it is that the young person's actually doing on a day-to-day basis, so that can be a bit of a source of tension as well, I think.
We define young carers as anybody up to the age of about 25, but we know from our interaction with young carers and studies about them that a carer can be as young as 5 or 6. Now, they may not be taking on primary responsibility, but they may be taking on roles that other 5 or 6-year-olds aren't taking on. And what we know about young carers is if they do have a significant caring role, their own needs for their own development may not be met. They may be disengaged at school. They may not have the peer friendships that other kids of the same age do. They may not even have their own developmental goals met because the focus is on someone else in the household. So we know that young carers need to be linked into supports, to have time for the normal development and social contact and downtime that other young people have. We know they need support with their education.
When I lie in bed cuddling both of my children ask which of them is on my stroke affected side. They know that if they're on my stroke affected side that I actually can't tell where my hand is or what it's doing, and they know that if I wriggle too much I'm going to say just stop. So you know, my children make active choices in the way that they're interacting with me based on their knowledge of my stroke. My children ask questions about my stroke non-stop because, you know, it impacts on what I can and can't do with them. You know, it impacts on you know, my capacity to be patient. You know, it's a learning journey for all of us, and many children of stroke survivors go on their own grieving journeys. That stroke affects an extended family, and that children grieve the impacts of a parent's stroke. And on the other side of the coin, I would say that parents of paediatric stroke survivors also go on their own grieving journeys.
The biggest impact of Grandma's stroke has been the fact that I've gotten used to not being able to rely on her the way that I used to when I was a kid. Because growing up, like Grandma and Grandpa were living with us. I think the impact's more on the family than it is on
the person herself. It's a different person. Okay, the ones they have stroke, now I know that the personality is impacted. It's a different personality. Somebody you knew being very independent and very predictable in a good way suddenly becomes dependent.
The biggest lesson that I've learnt about stroke from my family and from being involved with the Stroke Foundation is that a stroke is like a ripple. It doesn't just affect the person who has the stroke, it affects everyone around them. And also in a good way. It's affected and inspired me to get involved with the Stroke Foundation as an advocate.
The best thing I can suggest is that a young carer rings our carer advisory line, which is a 1-800 number, and when they ring that number they will go to the state carer service, and that number is the gateway to knowing the supports that are available in that area. So they'll speak to a professional, you know, a trained social worker, and that social worker will have all the information at their fingertips, literally on a computer screen, as well as being well versed in the issues that face young carers. So not only will they get information, they will have a supportive conversation where someone gently tries to approach what their needs might be and see what the best fit is for those needs.